If you're still running circles in Lysandre's lab, you're wasting your time. This one teleporter lets you farm almost the whole lab for shinies fast. Hey guys, in this guide I'm going to show you how you can farm most of Lysandre's lab for shinies in the most efficient way possible. To be clear, this method will let you farm for the Noivern here, the Houndoom and Houndour here, the Houndoom over here, the Noivern that kind of spawns in this area right here, and then the Honedge and Dualblade here, the Houndoom here, and the Ekans and Arbok over here. What this doesn't cover is the Beldum and Metang over here, as well as the Electrites over here. That said, this method is a little complicated. Be sure you follow the entire video. If you skip ahead, you might miss an important step that's going to cost you some shinies down the road. Also, as a bonus, if you stick tight, I'll also include a teleporter guide so that you can farm that Beldum for shinies if you want to. All right, let's teleport and get started. The first thing you want to do is run all the way past all these Pokemon. We are heading towards where the Ekans and the Arbok spawn. And what we'll do is once we get past them, once we have kind of got them into the game, we got them to spawn, we're going to, okay, so there they are. We're going to run to this room. And what we're going to do is just come to this little corner and then fast travel back to the beginning of the lab. What this does is it tricks the game. Normally, when you're just playing the game, if you move a certain distance away from the Pokemon, they'll despawn. However, if you go and you're close to where they are and you fast travel back to the entrance, see how you can still hear these Pokemon in the background? This is an important giveaway that this is working. I can actually hear the Ekans and the Arbok in my headphones right now, which means that the game is still registering them as close by, even though they're not. So we're going to go ahead and move to the next Pokemon. We're going to head into the teleporter again. And I'm going to run through this room one more time. I'm going to keep going. And I'm actually going to head up here on the left. There was a Noivern. I probably actually don't have to do this because there's another way to get Noivern, but we're going to do this anyway. Okay, so I'm going to fast travel back again. Got to watch out for that Houndoom. And we are back. And then there's a third group in here I want to be sure I get. So if I just go right here, I can spawn the Honedge and the Dualblade, or Doubleblade, how are you going to say it? And yep, there they are. And then I'm just going to fast travel back. And do that again. So if you listen, if you want to be sure you're doing this right as you go, you should be hearing more and more Pokemon in the background. So I'm hearing the Ekans and the Arbok. I'm hearing the Honedge. I'm hearing the Noiverns. I'm hearing all this stuff in my headphones right now, which means this is working. Now for this next part, I'm going to run to the left. There is a Noivern, right here when you come in. So what I like to do is I like to hang really close to this corner as I go through and kind of roll through, don't really give it any more time to react than it has to have. So I'll go and roll. Okay, it did it. So I can just check and be sure it's there. It's there. And then I do the same thing for this spawn in here. And I'm going to travel back. This is actually that spot I just went through is really the biggest hang up that you might encounter because there's no really good way to get them to de-aggro and teleport back. And so you don't have to do that wing if you don't want to, those spawns. But if you want to maximize the total number of possible shinies by doing this method, you pretty much need to do that. Now for this last part, I'm just going to come around this corner here and I'm going to be sure that this Houndoom is spawned also. And then I'll just go ahead and travel one more time. And so that is about 70% of the lab right there. And so I hear all these Pokemon, I hear them all in the background. So they all have a possibility of resetting. Well, they will reset every time there's a black screen. And so and keep in mind that this game will save up to 10 shinies. And that means if I'm doing the teleport method, even though I have these black screens and all the Pokemon are resetting, the shinies are going to stay. And so I have a possibility of getting a shiny Alpha Arbok. I have a possibility of getting the Noiverns, whatever they're called. I have a possibility of getting a shiny Houndoom, possibility of getting a shiny Honedge, Doubleblade, all that good stuff. So this is what you have to do for this next part. All you have to do is teleport back and forth. Just keep teleporting back and forth. Every time you do that, you get a black screen. And see how fast that screen is? This is why this is actually possibly one of the fastest ways to farm for shinies in this game because it's so quick to move back and forth. And that black screen is so short. It's quicker than fast traveling. It's quicker than doing like a soft reset or anything like that. It's extremely efficient. So what I'm going to do is, it is 6:05 my time right now. I'm actually going to set a macro on my computer. I mean, not on my computer. I'm sorry, on my controller. I'll set a macro on my controller, see how it's going automatically like this. And so I'm going to leave it for an hour. And then what we'll do is once this is over, I'll hit record again and we will explore how many shinies we get just from 1 hour of doing this together. All right, everybody, it's been about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and run through that route that I set up, and I'm not going to catch anything right now. We're just looking to see how many shinies we have so far. All right, we have a shiny Doublade, a shiny Honedge. That one's not shiny, that's okay. Shiny Houndoom, nice. He's not shiny, that's fine. Shiny Ekans. I was hoping for a shiny Arbok, but it's fine. It's all good. Can I sneak out of here? Yep, okay. Okay, back to the front. Let's go to the left and see what we got. What's that? Noivern is not shiny. Neither are these. It's all right. We only did it for an hour, so... Actually, I had more than I was expecting anyway. Oh, and we got a shiny, shiny Alpha Houndoom. Nice. All right, I promised a bonus if you waited till the end, so I'm going to show you how to catch Beldum using the same technique. Remember I said that the earlier route I showed you would not work for Beldum? So we have a special one that we have to set up just to get Beldum and Metang to possibly be shiny. But before we do that, if you haven't noticed yet, I'm still hearing Pokemon in the background, which means that I still have some areas kind of saved up that I don't want to check for shinies in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the labs and come right back. And I shouldn't have any more Pokemon sounds. That way we'll have a clean slate and I can show you how to do that area. Okay, I'm not hearing any Pokemon, which is great. So let's go ahead and move to where Beldum is. All right, this is a little tricky because we don't want to like trigger every Pokemon. We're going to be fast traveling, so we don't need them attacking us. So be sure you're not under attack. Now, the trick here is that Beldum and Metang will both attack you on sight, which is not something you want, but you need them to show up. You need them to spawn in game. Okay, they're both there. So they're both spawned. We're going to fast travel to the entrance again. Now, if it goes well, you should still be hearing them every once in a while. And we're not going to use this teleporter for this one. This one actually doesn't move us far enough away. So we're going to come over here. I already caught the Houndoom. So remember, it was shiny alpha. So I caught that. Normally, there's a possibility of that showing up as a shiny using this technique also. There is also, if you can just barely see at the very top, there's a Noivern up there hanging upside down. That Noivern will sometimes turn shiny based off this also. We're going to fast travel right here. Okay, so I am hearing Beldum and Metang, and sometimes you can hear these electrites, I think they're called. This doesn't spawn them for some reason. I guess maybe it doesn't move you far enough away, but this definitely works for Beldum and definitely works for Metang. I've tested it multiple times. So here's what we're going to do. I've actually found that for some reason, this one is a little bit harder to get shinies, but it does work. So I'm going to let this run for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, kind of in that ballpark. And then we'll come back and check and see if we have any shinies. All right, we're back. It's been about an hour. And we're going to go ahead and check and see what shinies have appeared. All right, Noivern, still not shiny. We have a shiny, what is that? Houndour. Shiny Houndour, that's nice. Oh, that worked out really fast. And we have a shiny Metang, so that's really good. So that's how to farm the majority of Lysandre's Lab for shinies. If you're curious what controllers I use to automate this process so I can go AFK for long periods of time, be sure to check the description below. I'll be sure to include some links to some controllers that you can get so you can automate this process for yourself. If this guide was helpful at all, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm working really hard to create content with lots of value for my viewers. So please consider doing that. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.